Give it a like and a share anywhere you are watching. I don't care if you're in Beet Beach. I don't care if you're in Richmond, Crozet, Ivy, downtown Charlottesville, Reading, Pennsylvania in the house. Whoop, whoop. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. We work hard for you, and the only thing we ask for our hard work is you hammer that like button, and better yet, share the show and ask questions within the show. A lot I'm going to cover on today's show, including a new topic we're going to introduce called Judah's Brain. Judah, you got a big, beautiful brain. I want to get in there. 10 plus years of working alongside that big, beautiful, bodacious brain of Judah Wickhauer's. Judah's Brain, a topic on every show. Neil Williamson on Twitter, liking the show. Scott Airworth, thank you for liking and sharing on Facebook and Beet Beach. Love you, Esquire Aaronworth. So here's some of the topics I'm going to discuss. Bodo's Bagels is going takeout only. Takeout only for Bodo's Bagels. Will Bodo's open the drive-thru again? Is the drive-thru good for traffic patterns in Charlottesville and Albemarle County? Is the takeout and drive-thru model prioritized even more now than it was last year or in 2020 in midst of this pandemic? What restaurant groups in this community are the most influential in establishing and setting trends within restaurants in Central Virginia? We will identify them. The ABC stores, are they a thing of the past? A monopoly of tremendous proportions. ABC stores, there is a proposed bill floating around Richmond right now that will abolish ABC stores and give autonomy to private business to sell hard liquor. That topic on the program. A lot we're going to cover, including packages getting stolen left and right from trains. In particular, Amazon packages getting stolen left and right from trains. Dude, it is a new crazy market, and we will relay it to you. Judah's Brain is on snow preparation, and Brendan Armstrong returning to the University of Virginia. Johnny Ornalis, que pasa, hombre? Love you, Johnny O. El Mariachi is A++. Love you, Johnny Ornalis and El Mariachi. Judah Wickhauer, I'm ready to rock when you are, baby.
Quiet on the set.
Good Friday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Seville show. Thank you kindly for joining us on a glorious day to be above the mud. We are live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love Seville network, presented by Skooma Boutique Dispensary. The best dispensary in Charlottesville and Albemarle County in Central Virginia is Skooma Boutique Dispensary on the downtown mall next to Rapture. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, certificates of analyses for everything in the store. So much I'm going to cover on today's program, including the news from Bodo's Bagels. They have 3 locations, and we have legitimately made an argument they could be the top grossing restaurant brand in Central Virginia. We will relay those revenue metric predictions again to you, and we will talk the news that Bodo's Bagels is now takeout only. Will Bodo's return their drive-thru to 2 of their 3 locations? Is Bodo's Bagels destined to be drive-thru and takeout only for a long period of time? And what restaurant groups or restaurant brands are the most influential in establishing or setting or creating new trends in F&B within our community? So much to cover on that topic. How about a proposed bill that's floating around Richmond from Delegate Nick Freitas? Is it Freitas? Is that how I say his last name, Neil Williamson? I believe it's Freitas. This proposed bill would potentially abolish ABC stores. Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority undoubtedly the dominant monopoly in liquor in the Commonwealth, perhaps the monopoly in the Commonwealth that has the largest stranglehold of one space or category of business, even more so than Dominion Electric, ABC, even more so than Comcast or Xfinity with cable and ISP services in the Commonwealth. The ABC is a monopoly of ridiculous proportions, more dominant from a monopoly standpoint than even Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, etc. The abolishment of ABC stores and the impact it could have on the Commonwealth in Charlottesville, in Albemarle County, and in Central Virginia. That topic on my head. Packages, another topic for you. Packages are being stolen left and right from trains. You heard me correctly, from trains. It's now like the Wild West with thieves, with villains, with robbers, with ghost face killers, hijacking packages from trains all over America. It's one thing if Amazon is late with its delivery. It's another thing altogether if your shoes, your rackets, your dresses, your jackets, your groceries, your gifts are hijacked from locomotives from East Coast to West Coast. That topic and story coming to you in a matter of moments. Another topic I want to discuss. We had a phenomenal edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith, supervisor of Albemarle County, one of 6, Diantha McKeel, and Jaunt new CEO, Ted Reek, about transportation in this community. One of the topics that made my brain explode was the opportunity or the potential of one unified, vertically integrated, economies of scale transportation system that serviced all of Central Virginia, perhaps branded the Central Virginia Transportation System. We are splintered in transportation across Central Virginia, Charlottesville, and Albemarle County. You have University Transit Service. You have the Charlottesville-Albemarle Transit, CAT. You have Jaunt. You have Albemarle County bus system. City of Charlottesville bus system. Bus systems for Fluvanna, for Buckingham, for Orange, for Louisa. What if all those transportation systems were aggregated, vertically integrated, galvanized, unionized, pulled together under one umbrella with one brand, one hiring and human resources department, one digitally infrastructured support system? The purchasing power to purchase fuel and buses would be greater, hiring potential would be better, and the most important value proposition, the quality of life and experience for riders would be much, much improved. That topic on the I Love Seville show. We'll introduce a new topic and segment to today's program called Judah's Brain. Do you have the 2-shot ready to go, Senor Wickhauer?
I do.
Get it on screen and blow a kiss to your adoring fans and listeners. Can you blow them a kiss?
If I have to.
Do you want to? You don't want to? Come on, charming guy. Blow your fans a kiss.
No.
Okay, Judah. So I don't want a kiss. I'll do it for you right there. Judah's Brain. What's on Judah's Brain today? We'll talk about it later in the show, but give him a sneak peek, a tease, if you may.
Apparently snow preparation. I'm just, it's more just to encourage discussion. As I've said on previous shows, why were we so unprepared for the snow?
Very nice.
It's not like Charlottesville has never had snow before. It's not like we never, tossed out salt or sand or whatever they're spraying on the streets these days. I hear
do they spray salt or do they drop salt?
Well, they might spray saline solution. I don't know. I hear beet juice is actually
beet juice.
Yeah. I hear beet juice is being used by a lot of places. It's a lot. It's obviously safer for our cars, safer for salt and plants don't mix that well.
Neither do salt and the pads of dogs. We're dog fans.
Exactly.
They tear up the pads of dogs.
There's a lot of reasons why tossing out hundreds of tons of salt every year is not a good idea. So apparently beet juice is the way to go now.
I love Judah's brain.
Look it up.
I love Judah's brain. Is the two-shot for us, this camera for me?
Yeah.
Excellent work, amigo. Very well done. So Judah's brain, a new topic you'll see on every show moving forward at the bottom of this program. And UVA quarterback Brennan Armstrong is returning. First, let's go to the one shot, and then I'm going to weave you in on our topic of Bodos. This is the news from this morning. The news from this morning. And I'm going to read verbatim what Bodos put on social media this morning. Hello, this is Bodos Bagels. I'm going to give you revenue projected predictions for Bodos and their 3 locations, and I'm going to try to crystal ball. Jude, can you get the crystal ball? Actually, you know what? We'll say the crystal ball is for Keith's show. I'm going to try to crystal ball the influence this will have on the Central Virginia market. First, the statement from Bodos. Quote, hello, friends. For the time being, our dining rooms will be closed in the interest of community health and employee safety. All stores remain open and ready to serve you for takeout only. We apologize for the disruption and/or difficulty that this shift is likely to cause. Thanks in advance for your patience as we navigate the challenges of the responsibilities to both customer service and public safety, end quote. And then they do a graphic. I'm going to put it on camera so folks can see it. Takeout only, dining room close. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. We immediately screenshot this and syndicate it across the robust and vast I Love Seville network, comprised of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, direct message, DMs, text message. It's vast. And the response has been significant from both folks frustrated with the decision making, to folks embracing the decision making, to folks aggravated, appreciative, some wondering if the drive-thrus will return. So let me offer some perspective. First and foremost, Bodos Bagels, and we'll go to the two-shot and integrate Judah into this. I would say Judah is one of the most beloved, appreciated, and rabid following of restaurant brands in this community. Fair statement, J-Dubs?
Yeah, well, I think it's one of the only brands that's, there are a lot of restaurants that are just Charlottesville, but when you think of Charlottesville and places to go eat, Bodos is almost synonymous with our city.
Very well said. 100% agree. Well said, Judah Wickower. I'm 100% in agreement with you. It's beloved. It's got a rabid following. I'm going to give revenue projections for Bodos. This is just me, no insider knowledge, just a businessman, crystal balling, cash money. Okay, Judah? Here we go. Bodos revenue analysis, crystal balled by yours truly. It's a conservative estimate, Judah. Conservative estimate. This is probably under. Let's say each location does 1,000 tickets per day. 1,000 tickets per day, J-Dubs. They have 3 locations. Let's say on average it's $8.50 per ticket, Judah. 1,000 tickets per day, $8.50 per ticket. So that means 1,000 tickets times $8.50 is $8,500 in daily gross sales. $8,500 in daily gross sales times 3 locations, $25,500 in average daily gross sales across 3 stores. $25,500 times 346 days. 346. You know what? I don't even think 346. Let's say they close 5 days. 5 days a year they close. Do you think that's fair?
Sure.
$25,500 times 360 days. They're going to close 5 days. I don't even think they close 5 days. Let's just say 5 days. That's gross revenues. How much do you think gross revenues? $9,180,000 in gross revenues across 3 stores in 1 calendar year. I'll give you those metrics again. 3 stores, 1,000 tickets per store. That's very conservative and low. But 3 stores, 1,000 tickets per store, $8.50 per ticket. That's a total of $25,500 in average gross sales across 3 stores per day. 360 days a year, 5 days closed. That's a total of gross revenues of $9,180,000. You know what that is, Judah?
Nope.
That's a lot of dough. Pun intended. That's a lot of dough. Okay? So we know this business is bona fide and a cash cow. Furthermore, the margin on bagels is unbelievable. It costs pennies to make a bagel. Literally pennies to make a bagel. And these are bagels. The bagel sandwiches are being sold for what, $5-6 each? Right? Pennies to make a bagel. There's a reason Bodo's is able to afford an army of team members and pay them a wage that is at the top of the pay scale for food and beverage in this community. Okay, those are all factual statements. So, here are a couple of questions. A couple of statements. We know Bodo's has 3 locations. We know Bodo's is a cash cow. We know Bodo's has a rabid and loyal following, arguably the most rabid and loyal following of any restaurant brand in this community. We know Bodo's is now pivoting to the takeout model only, J-Dubs. We know Bodo's in months past had a drive-through at the Preston Avenue and Emmett Street locations. The logical question, as they've pivoted away from dining room to the pandemic to takeout only, logical ones for me, and I'm curious of your take, and I'll offer mine. Is this the future of Bodo's Bagels? The elimination of in-room dining, in-house dining, sitting inside, A. Is the future of Bodo's Bagels a takeout drive-through model only? C, third question, is the drive-through at Bodo's Bagels on Preston and Emmett Street good for safety and traffic patterns and traffic congestion in this community? And 4D, the last question I'm going to ask, is Bodo's the most influential food and beverage brand in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia from a trend-setting standpoint? Judah, your thoughts on some of these topics?
I mean, I hope that they're not going to give up their dining rooms. It's space lost, but I just think that as we've been talking about the pandemic becoming more endemic, I think this is a choice they made, but the fact that we don't see more restaurants going with this is, I think, indicative of the fact that we're moving away from the pandemic mindset. At this point, people either already have been vaccinated, or they're probably never going to be. And so at this point, I think we're just facing the consequences of our actions. If you decide not to, then, I mean, people are walking around, people are going to stores, people are eating out again. I think for the most part, most of us are moving on with our lives. And I would hope that that eventually Bodo's would allow people back into their dining room. As for, let's see, what was your other question? Whether
I'll jump in here.
What? Okay.
I'll jump in here. Bill McChesney, hello. Carol Thorpe, hello. Robert Libby, giving you some props on your Facebook page.
He's a good guy.
Robert Libby says hello.
Haven't seen him in a long time.
Okay, giving you some props. So feedback from viewers and listeners on this very topic. Brian Yeagle, friend of the program. We love BY. Love Brian Yeagle, right? You love Brian Yeagle.
Yeah.
He says this: I'm not sure quick serve restaurant type locations like Bodo's, Roots, the salad company, salad bowls, etc., want or need indoor dining anymore. Maximize production space, focus on order ahead pickup, and an online digital footprint like apps for phones. That is literally Roots' model. Roots, if you've ever been on the UVA corner, has a line literally all the way down the UVA corner around lunchtime. They also have created a second location where it's only pickup associated with an app on your phone. So Brian Yeagle Bombs, we love you, Brian Yeagle. Not sure, he says, quick serve restaurant types like Bodo's or Roots want or need indoor dining anymore. Maximize production space, focus on order ahead pickup, and an online footprint. That's my 2 cents. Now, Chris Mead, he's got a big, beautiful brain as well, from Richmond, Virginia. Someone I grew up with. Diehard New York Mets fan, Chris Mead. Phenomenal at Algebra 2 trigonometry, Chris Mead. A gentleman who knows baseball trivia inside and out and Seinfeld trivia, Chris Mead. He responds with this, which is a response to Brian Yeagle's comment. Any more is a long time. Every business is different, so it's hard to say what will work and for whom. But generally speaking, there are not that many 100% takeout restaurants for a reason. A lot of people are only willing to spend restaurant prices if they can comfortably eat the food they just paid for right after they buy it or get it. No point in retooling your business, that's lots of money and work, unless you know the retool will increase sales enough to offset the loss of all those folks that want to eat their food right then and there. End quote. Chris Mead, smart man from Richmond.
Good
Judah
points.
Wickhauer, jump in here.
I think those are good points, and yeah, it's not like the Bodo's dining room was something like the downtown grill. It's more akin to a cafeteria, but he's right. Some people just want to get their food and sit down, especially when you're getting something like eggs. Who wants to
Cold eggs.
Who wants to take the 15, 20, 30-minute drive home and end up with a cold egg bagel or cold soup or whatever it is that you're buying there? I think if Bodo's decides that their dining room isn't profitable, then maybe this will be a permanent thing. But I think Chris's points are very valid, that there are a lot of people that don't want to just pick up food and go drive somewhere else, whether it's home or somewhere they can sit and actually eat their food.
Brian Yeagle responds with this on Twitter. Very true in commenting to Chris Mead's comment. I think the influx of delivery and convenience has skewed how we look at restaurant prices. My generation pays crazy amounts of money weekly or daily to have food delivered right to them without leaving their dorm, their house. Convenience is king for us. Brian Yeagle, I believe you are still 30 years old and under. Brian, are you in your upper 20s? I believe you are, Brian Yeagle. I love your perspective. Here are my thoughts. Are you ready? We have a labor shortage in food and beverage, correct?
Sure.
We have a labor shortage. And because we have a labor shortage, employees in the F&B space are able to command a wage, an hourly wage that they've never been able to command before. It's very high because there's a shortage of supply of workers. Furthermore, we have governments, local, state, and federal, that are prioritizing increasing minimum wages to more of a living wage, raising wages. So let's assess what's happening. Let's consider macro and micro trends. A shortage of workers. And because we have a shortage of workers, restaurateurs or owners of restaurants are having to pay current workers more than ever because they can just jump ship and pretty much have more leverage than they've ever had before. Furthermore, compounding the situation, governments, federal, state, and local, are prioritizing increasing minimum wages to higher levels. This further compounds the dilemma of the restaurateur in staying afloat. So the restaurateur is in this predicament. I don't have enough workers, and the governments are telling me to increase the wages. How do I manage paying people more money while still maintaining my profit margin? So the restaurateur has a couple of choices. A, he or she can raise menu prices. And menu price increases are happening all over America. Have you gone to anywhere from Chick-fil-A to, what's the place in Keswick? Anywhere from Chick-fil-A to Marigold at Keswick Hall. Have you seen the cost of goods and menu prices escalate in real time? I certainly have. So you have some restaurateurs, mom and pops to Fortune 100, passing the additional cost of labor to customers through increased menu prices. The problem is that's not necessarily sustainable. And why it's not sustainable is wages that people are getting paid in our country are not keeping pace with inflationary times. Inflation in the ballpark of 7%. Wages, not in that ballpark. So consumers, the marketplace, are showing more discretion on what they're using their disposable income on than ever before. So raising menu prices is not a great long-term solution because it's going to aggravate, alienate, frustrate customers and have them really thinking food and dining as a commodity as opposed to an experience. So the restaurateur has to get creative. And how the restaurateur gets creative is considering ways to limit overhead. And there are multiple ways to limit overhead in the restaurant space. Cost of goods, COGS, are one way to limit overhead. Be more efficient with COGS, cost of goods. Or be more efficient with labor as a line item. And one way to be more efficient with labor as a line item is to use less labor. Less labor means what?
I'm not sure what you're fishing for.
Less labor means you're paying people less money, so more money can stay in the business.
Obviously.
Okay. So with less labor, how do you run the business efficiently with less labor as a line item? One of the ways you can run the business more efficiently with less labor as a line item is to do away with labor associated with dining in. Think about the labor needed for dining in. Labor to clean the space, dining in. If you don't have dining in, do you have to clean dining in? No. Labor associated with garbage for dining in. Labor taking the trash out. Labor associated with serving customers dining in. If the models prioritize and pivot, almost a cliche pivot, but COVID's made pivoting more important than ever. If the models prioritize pivoting toward here's your food, leave our premise and eat it. You don't have labor associated with serving customers, labor associated with cleaning, and labor associated with garbage, and labor associated with prioritizing dining in people that stay sticky longer, as opposed to vehicles that go quickly through a drive-thru and leave. I think it's safe to say you can serve more people in a drive-thru takeout capacity than if they stay sticky for 45 to 90 minutes in-house, cannibalizing tables from other customers. So, we're left with this question, and get ready to jump in with something smart because you got a big, beautiful brain. We're left with this question. As Brian Yeagle has identified on Twitter, the 30 and under generation is now more concerned and prioritizing convenience than experience. And as the 30 and under generation matures and becomes the next millennial generation, the most impactful and influential spending demographic is millennials, and it's not even close. Millennials are getting older. I'm one. I'm speaking from firsthand experience. There was a time when my wife and I, or me as a single man, was eating out every single damn meal 5 of 7 days a week. Guess what's happening with millennials? We have kids now. We have kids who have bedtimes. We have children that need baths. We have children that have to wake up early for school. So there was a time when my wife and I were going to happy hour and going from happy hour to dinner. And that was our hobby and what we did from a quality of life standpoint. We were foodies. Now our quality of life is not foodies, but it's parents. And we're more concerned with poopy diapers and getting our kid to school on time early in the wee hours of the morning than we are happy hour to dinner. So soon the millennials will age just like the baby boomers have. And the 30 and under demographic is going to be the market share dominant demo. And when the 30 and under demographic becomes the market share dominant demo from a spending standpoint, convenience and king mentality will be the norm. You disagree?
Not everybody is just going to, order delivery. There are, we're always going to have people going to grocery stores. We're going to have people, figuring out that it's cheaper to shop around the outside of the grocery store than to shop in the middle of the grocery store. People that decide that they like cooking for themselves. I agree that convenience is king. When somebody just wants to get something fast, they won't care about a dining room.
Jim Wickhauer says you're doing a hell of a good job. Mandy Wickhauer, hello, from California. Both watching J-Dubs on the show. Keep talking, baby. Keep talking.
But there's also going to be, there are also always going to be people that want to go and have a nice night out. And I hope and pray that we don't get to a point where all restaurants decide that convenience is king and, the Aberdeen barn becomes a drive-through. I mean, that would be a sad state of affairs.
Very well said. I will play devil's advocate with you for the sake of a talk show. I thought you made excellent points there, my friend. Convenience is king. Perhaps it's not convenience is king, but convenience is survival.
Are we getting that bad? And what is there an answer to that? Besides just every restaurant moving to a carry-out delivery model.
Devil's advocate once again. In times of economic hardship, the top businesses and spaces and categories, we're the top advertising agency in Central Virginia, and it's not even close. What we saw during this pandemic was VMV Brands and I Love Seville gain more market share. What we saw during this pandemic was the top realtors, the 10% of realtors that do 90% of the business, got more market share. In times of hardship, the best, the cream rises to the top. Will the F&B space evolve? And I'm speaking specifically from an in-house dining standpoint, to only the best brands and restaurants offering in-house dining. The best experiences, the best service, the best food quality.
Because they're the only ones that can afford it?
That's right. Because they're the only ones can afford it. The top 10% of realtors do 90% of the business, and that number's increased even more during economic hardship associated with COVID. I've literally seen in the advertising agency space these little companies that are fly-by-nights that have been around for 18 months to 24 months that are clinging on to one or two accounts and have a side hustle that say they're an ad agency, but really their side hustle is driving more revenue than the one or two accounts have. Guess what happened to them?
They gave up.
They shut the hell down and they gave up. They gave up. Is that what's going to happen to in-house dining? The best survive in this Darwinistic COVID economic climate. The medulla oblongata is turning over there. Give us some gospel, Judah Wickhauer.
I don't know about gospel. I think that's a jaded outlook, and
jaded or realistic.
Maybe they're one and the same now. Again, I hope that's not the way we're going. I hope some influential restaurateurs figure this thing out.
That leads us to our next topic, the most influential restaurants in the space. Keep going. Mandy Wickhauer says, love J-Dubs. I love J-Dubs too. It's literally J-Dubs in the comment section for Mandy. What do you got to say? Keep going.
I just, like I said, I hope they figure it out. I hope that we're not. I hope that we're not sacrificing too much for convenience, for fear, for whatever it is that's driving for profit. I think eventually somebody will come along and figure this thing out. Figure out how to help restaurants survive.
Johnny Ornelas watching the program, the owner of 2 restaurants. He's got perspective to offer. El Mariachi and Zion's Crossroads, Johnny Ornelas. Guadalajara, Jefferson Park Avenue, Johnny Ornelas. I'm typing as I'm speaking. Johnny, I will relay this live on air. Enter, publish on one of 15 Facebook pages that's airing this show. Johnny says Jerry Miller. During COVID, shutdown labor was the same trash. During COVID, shutdown labor was the same trash. I'm not sure what this comment means, Johnny. Give me a little more perspective on this. Offer this perspective really clearly, because I want to make sure I read this on air accurately. Mark McKinney and Crozet. However, fellas, the millennials are delaying life decisions even more. Marriage, first homes, having children, mostly because of student loan debt. That's a great comment. The millennials are maturing from an American dream standpoint later. They are actualizing the quote, air quote, American dream. And Judah's made a legitimate argument on this platform that the American dream is either, how would you describe it? Catastrophically wrong, or no longer the American dream of decades past?
It's languishing. I think it lost significant muscle mass.
Muscle mass, very good.
You talked about costs of labor not keeping up, and it's not keeping up with a lot of things. It's not keeping up with housing costs. It's not keeping up with the cost of living, and I think this is what I mentioned previously, in that we're not in a place where somebody can get married and have one of the partners hold a job and be able to afford to feed the family, own a home, and all the other things that come along with family life. We're now in a time when, for the most part, both partners have to work. They have to figure out what to do with the kids, and sometimes that's still not enough to make ends meet. Sometimes one of the partners has to work 2 jobs, and I think not enough people are looking at that and saying something is wrong. The American dream isn't the same that it used to be. It's not, you can still work hard and make something. I don't know if you can make it, though. Sometimes it takes too much, and sometimes there's no digging yourself. Look at what happened with the pandemic. There were people that were barely making ends meet, and the pandemic may have put them 6 months or more behind. And I think this is part of the people getting out of whatever jobs they were in, because they're saying, look, I spent however many years barely making ends meet, and now my government put me 6 months, 8 months back. I'm supposed to go back to the same job where I was barely making ends meet, and now not only am I barely making ends meet, but I'm 6, 8, 9 months behind on rent, on whatever. What am I supposed to do with that? How do you decide to jump back in and face that nightmare?
What's the alternative option for the demographic you were describing? What is the alternative option?
I don't know what it is. They're
and does it make you feel fortunate?
They're figuring that out. But
does it make you feel fortunate to have? It's important to highlight this. Does it make you feel fortunate to have overhead fixed when it comes to mortgage, a mortgage standpoint?
That's definitely a blessing.
An advantage. And this goes back to yesterday's show with rents increasing so quickly, where mortgages can be fixed, and a perfect example of real estate ownership, the hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
Having the 30-year fixed. Because the 30-year fix, as we both have, and we thank the Lord, we're both God-fearing people. Now, that's been earned by both of us through some grind, but that 30-year fix certainly limits financial exposure in these crazy Wild West economic times.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing to have a mortgage, not have to worry about a landlord who's going to
20 to 30% we were talking yesterday.
I mean, yeah, that's just
that's robbery.
It's disgusting. You've still got taxes going up, but I mean, the government is always going to ramp things up. That's why we've got such a mess with inflation. Such a dynamic topic. This is such a dynamic topic. Let's get to some of the viewers and listeners. This is from LinkedIn. Jerry, I love your show and how you take a time to take a deep dive on trends we are not necessarily considering. One thing to consider with Bodos is the impact they have on the labor market with all the folks they hire. I bet across their 3 stores, they have somewhere between 100 and 200 employees they rely on and pay well. If you remove in-house dining from their 3 locations, you will certainly lose well-paid folks from the labor force. Kelsey on LinkedIn. It's a great comment. Yeah, I don't think they would lose as many as some other
restaurants. Yeah, that are more prioritizing in-house dining as their only source of revenue to keep their restaurant open.
Yeah, and Bodos doesn't, they don't have, they may have people bussing tables.
But they don't have waiters.
They don't have waiters.
They don't have servers.
Most of the people
or a host
are behind the, behind the counter, behind the, back in the kitchen.
But still a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point.
If in-house dining was eradicated from the model, there would certainly be a shrinkage, and that's the whole point we're making, a shrinkage of labor, which would allow the businesses, the 3 owners of the businesses, each owns a location, would allow the 3 owners to potentially maintain more margin. Because, I mean, eventually the consumer is going to get to the point where, like, am I going to pay close to $10 for a sandwich? right? When you could potentially do the same sandwich at your house and eat it on your couch and watch Netflix while eating said sandwich and do it for 30, 40% less. Mark McKinney, watching in Crozet. He references the salaries of teachers, police, firefighters, EMTs, and county staff in the upper 30s and early 40s. The salaries of teachers, police, firefighters, EMT, and county staff in the upper 30s and early 40s. Many with college degrees in their field. Bill McChesney, you were talking about less cleaning labor and on-site trash at Bodo's without dining. Johnny Ornalis is saying that with drive-through and pickup, those two factors don't change. I slightly disagree. If you don't have folks eating inside, you don't prioritize or have to clean the bathrooms or buy the cleaning goods, the mops, the Clorox, the soap, the paper towels, the toilet paper, the associated water expenses.
Dishwasher has a lot less to do.
Dishwasher, well said. Do you even need a dishwasher?
Well,
if it's takeout only.
You got to clean the pots and pans.
You got to clean the pots and pans, but you don't need the dishwasher to the same. I would say the majority of what the dishwasher is doing from an in-house dining is cleaning the plates and the glasses and the silverware.
Oh yeah, a cook could probably clean the pots and pans at the end of the night, whereas during the day you would need someone constantly washing dishes to cycle through, and for each what do you call it? Dining
turn.
Yeah.
Turn of the tables.
Yeah.
So a next question we ask. And you guys, the show is blowing up on all social media. We'll get to the Instagram, we'll get to the Twitter, we'll get to the LinkedIn, we'll get to the comments coming in. Oh, Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach says this. Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach. This is a very good one. The biggest foodie in Charlottesville may live in Virginia Beach, and it may be Scott Aaronworth. The reality is, Jerry, if you love their food, you will do what they tell you to do.
What does that mean?
If you love a restaurant or a brand's food, you will respond to their business pivots, innovations, and changes and do what they tell you to do. Do you buy that? If you love the bocadillo at Mas Tapas, and I freaking love the bocadillo and the bacon wrapped dates and the tomatoes asados at Mas Tapas with a pitcher of sangria, ooh la la, muy bueno chico. First date I took Lauren on was Mas Tapas. Okay? And we need to go back there. It's amazing the impact children will have on nightlife and social life. If you love the bocadillo and the bacon wrapped dates and the tomatoes asados at Mas Tapas in Belmont, Charlottesville, Virginia, you will respond, react accordingly to how Mas Tapas will serve those to you.
Within reason.
Do you buy that?
Within reason. I mean,
what does within reason mean specifically?
It's a very broad statement. Like I said before, I'm not going to go to Aberdeen Barn and get a. You
love the barn, don't you? Jim Wickhauer, take this man to the barn.
It's just it's the only real steakhouse that we've got now. So I'm just using it as
South and Central is a real steakhouse. Okay. There's two.
I haven't been there yet, so I don't really know much about it. But my point being that that's definitely the kind of place that you wouldn't want to get takeout, and so. I'm just saying that I'm not going to be going to South and Central or Aberdeen Barn and getting a prime rib and a nice buttery, salty baked potato and whatever else, and then go drive home and eat it on my my TV tray.
Do you have a TV tray?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But if I did, I wouldn't be eating nice steak dinners on it.
Mateo Favero. Am I saying his name right?
Close enough.
Mateo says, Judah, I love your commentary. Do you still have any of the Lord of the Rings swords that you carved?
I've got one or two.
Okay. Mateo, are you interested in purchasing one from Judah?
I think he's got one of my swords from a few years ago.
Where's Mateo watching?
I don't know.
It's a beautiful thing
I'm
about
not
social
sure.
media, connecting with people across the country. This question is coming in from Naples, Florida. Jerry, I watch this program as much as possible. You know I'm a University of Virginia graduate, and Bodo's is the first place we go to when we return to Charlottesville for alumni events, for UVA games, or to reminisce about our time on grounds. It would be an absolute shame for Bodo's to close its dining room, because that's as much Charlottesville for our family as attending football games at Scott Stadium. Keep on keeping on. And I like the addition of Judah to this program.
I agree.
And that's from Stephen in Naples.
I agree. It would be a shame.
Kevin Higgins. Let's all hit Bodo's drive-thru. Provide a visual commitment to Charlottesville and this business. Get in the news how slammed they are and fight back. It's time to fight back, and we must fight back now.
Put your money where your mouth is. That's another good point. If we don't want our restaurants to die, we've got to support them.
Bill, when Tip Top went pickup only, we supported them. We were glad they did not go out. Bill, I read this comment live on air. What are the most influential, as we head to other topics on the show? What are the most influential restaurant groups in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia? Restaurant brands, restaurant groups.
I think you need to define influential.
He says, yes, I don't have one. Mateo, I want to buy one. And he lives in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Mateo, do you want to buy a Lord of the Rings sword from Judah Wickhauer? Judah Wickhauer, how much will you price a Lord of the Rings sword for Mateo? Make sure you consider cost of goods. Make sure you consider rising cost of labor, inflationary times associated with postal costs.
I don't know if any of my woodworking equipment is still working, but that would be fun. And he's right. It was someone else I was thinking of. Another friend of ours that has one of my swords.
So did you put a price on? I mean, you're about to close the deal here. Close the damn deal.
I don't even know if I can make him a sword.
What? I don't know. Is not part of closing the deal?
If he can get me 9 other orders, that makes 10 total orders. I'll give it a thought.
Judah Wickhauer is a Lord of the Rings swordsman designer. 10 orders, and he gives it some thought. I would think your threshold of units ordered should be higher than 10 for you to go into the game of purchasing wood swordsman making equipment. That sounds quite costly.
Well, I've got some equipment. It's been a long time since I've turned any of them on.
Judah, love you, homie. Love you. Scott says, how is Lampo doing with takeout only? Lampo is crushing it with takeout only. Lampo is crushing it with takeout only. Their labor overhead is a lot lower, and they are stacking some paper in Ix Park right now with their takeout only model with pizza. It is damn good. Mitch and Lauren, damn good. Damn good. More comments coming in. Neil Williamson, Free Enterprise Forum. Very good comment. He says, doesn't the American dream evolve with each generation? Gentlemen, doesn't the American dream evolve with each generation? That's an intriguing question. Let's take a moment to digest this. Neil, I read this comment live on air. Thank you for watching the I Love Seville VA show. Just responded to him on Twitter. So I'll say this. I think the American dream undoubtedly evolves with each generation. The American dream, are we different generations? Are you a millennial?
I think I might be Gen X. I'd have to look up the.
Do a quick Google search right there as I
classification.
offer some commentary here. And explain to me the generations after millennials. See if you can find the list of generations and what they're branded or called, their
All right,
monikers.
here we go.
Okay, so what are you?
I'm Generation X.
Okay, so what is Generation X from a time range standpoint?
Generation X closes at 1980.
Okay, so 1980 is Gen X,
Yeah. The next
Okay.
generation
is millennial.
is Generation Y.
No. Gen X to Gen Y?
That's what they're calling it.
Gen
here.
Y's got to be millennial then.
They don't have millennials on. Okay.
I
let's see.
believe millennial
Here's
is like
one-
80 to 98 is millennial. Am I right on that?
Yeah, they've got. I found another one that says millennials are 81 to 95.
Okay. So you're you said Gen X?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm millennial. What's the one after millennial?
So millennial is Gen Y, and after millennials is Gen Z. That's 96 to 2010. And then they're calling the current generation 11 through 25 Generation Alpha.
So I'll say this.
At least in this version.
I'll say this. To Neil's point, the American dream does evolve from generation to generation. Undoubtedly evolves from generation to generation. But there are some tenets or aspects
I was
of
just going to say that
the American dream that remain the same,
remain a constant.
remain constant. And those tenets or aspects that remain constant are essentially associated in some ways to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you know that?
I know of it.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, often associated with, are you looking that up?
Yeah.
One of them is shelter. Home ownership is in that shelter need category,
Especially when people are jacking up rent prices.
which we talked yesterday. Some landlords, we reference Manhattan, New York City, the Big Apple, the highest rents in the history of the Big Apple last year. Rental renewals going up 20 to 30%. So one of the ways to fix your overhead is owning a home, a 30-year mortgage, taking the hands out of a landlord, the influence out from a landlord, and putting it in your destiny, your fate, your control. I do believe the dream evolves from generation to generation, changes from generation to generation. But Judah, I think home ownership is very much a fixture of it. You disagree slightly on that with me. You don't think the home ownership is as prioritized with current generation as past.
Did I say that?
You've said it in past shows. Am I miscommunicating that?
I don't remember exactly what I've said. I don't know that I think for a lot of people that are younger than us, like has been said before, convenience is king, and being able to quickly move from one place to another means that renting a place could be a better prospect for them. I don't know that.
Neil says, and he counters on Twitter. This show airs on every social media platform possible. 15 Twitter accounts, 15 Facebook accounts, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Snapchat. Am I missing any? iloveseville.com. He says, is home ownership a need or is shelter a need?
Shelter is a need.
So that's a great counterpoint.
I don't know that home ownership is a need, but when you take the options in the shelter block together,
home ownership
eventually
is going to get you more wealth, which could potentially give you greater quality of life because you're fixing your overhead, and eventually you'll have that debt service paid off. And on top of that, you can pay it. You can pass it along when you die to your offspring, which then creates generational wealth.
It's a much better savings account than putting your money in the bank.
Dude. Are you on a two-shot? Well, look at the screen, everybody. Good job.
Thank you.
Very good. That was an excellent point. Excellent point. Excellent point. What do you think the American dream is now? Brian Yeagle on Twitter. How old are you, Brian Yeagle, on Twitter? I'm curious of what the American dream is now for someone fresh out of college. Brian is not fresh out of college. I believe you're in your upper 20s, Brian. Am I right on that, BY, on Twitter? Is the America dream for someone fresh out of college paying off massive student loan debt? Is the American dream for somebody fresh out of a four-year institution or beyond paying off massive student loan debt first before anything else?
I don't know. Do those people, this is a question, I guess, for anyone in that age group, do they even think it's possible?
To own a home?
No, to pay off that debt.
Great question.
Or is it just, has that become like, does that just become a part of life? Like you go to college knowing that I'm going to have this debt probably for the rest of my life.
And is that eventually the demise of college and higher education? When perhaps you just choose to learn a life of knowledge through street smarts in the school of hard knocks?
Could be.
Or go to a trade school where you apprentice and earn money while apprenticing and then eventually become a tradesman that can earn...
I think tradesmen are certainly making more
bank
on average than
a plumber,
college graduates.
A plumber, an electrician. I mean, good Lord. These folks are making bank.
And they don't have that debt overhead.
And they're in short supply right now. So they can command dollars they otherwise couldn't. Has anyone tried to get a handyman or a remodeling company? It ain't easy, guys. It ain't easy to get one to come and do some work. College enrollment is down 3.1% this year. From Neil Williamson on Twitter. Great stat. I just retweeted that. Sir Neil Williamson, president of the Free Enterprise Forum. Google Free Enterprise Forum and read Neil Williamson's Free Enterprise Forum. The dude is smart. Love you, Sir Neil Williamson. Love you, Sir Neil Williamson. Hot Holly and hot gringos from Paul's Deli in Williamsburg in the future. So what's the most influential restaurant group or brand in the community?
I think you have to explain influential. What does that mean?
Which brand, restaurant group can establish or create or set trends more so than others? So I will say this.
I don't know. Is anybody really setting trends?
Oh yeah.
In,
Oh yeah. In restaurants. Oh yeah. For me, it's one of three. Wilson Ritchie's restaurant group is probably number one. Google 10-course hospitality Charlottesville. 10-course hospitality. You could just go to 10coursehospitality.com. Wilson Ritchie is the maestro behind 10-course hospitality. Here are his brands. Are you ready for this? The Whiskey Jar. Cafe Frank on the downtown mall. Wilson Ritchie owns the Cafe Frank building on the downtown mall. So Wilson Ritchie's got the Whiskey Jar, Cafe Frank, South and Central and Dairy Market, Revolutionary Soup, I believe there are two of them, one downtown and one on the UVA corner, the Milkman's Bar and Dairy Market, the Bebedero, and the Wine Guild. I believe Wilson Ritchie has purchased the downtown grill building and is subdividing it, and the Bebedero is going to go into that building, and I've heard that Rockfish is also going to go into that building, brewing company. So Wilson Ritchie, I think, is the most influential trendsetter in restaurants in Charlottesville, in Albemarle County, in Central Virginia. And why? It's because of the prolific nature of brands under ownership. The Whiskey Jar, Cafe Frank, South and Central, two Revolutionary Soups, Milkman's Bar, the Bebedero, the Wine Guild. one of the few restaurateurs that has figured out restaurant ownership to the point where he is now purchasing real estate. Cafe Frank building, I believe also the Downtown Grill building. Maya Restaurant, Peter Castiglione and Christian Kelly, they own the real estate of Maya on West Main. Andy McClure's group is the second, I'm doing some Googling. Andy McClure's group is the second most influential restaurant group in this community. Andy McClure's group is the group behind the Virginian Restaurant on the UVA corner, the Biltmore Grill on the UVA corner, Citizen Burger Bar on the Downtown Mall and in Carytown, Richmond, Lucky Blues Bar on the Downtown Mall, Bell in Belmont, Grisette in Richmond, Citizen Burger Stand in Dairy Market, and GRN Burger, which I believe is GRN Burger in Dairy Market? Yes, it is. So Citizen Burger Stand, and GRN Burger are both in Dairy Market. You gotta explain that one to me. But it's two brands, both in the same location. And he's vertically integrating his food model by also owning Rapid Repair Refrigeration, a refrigeration repair company that services certainly his restaurants at cost probably, and then creating a profit center where Rapid Repair Refrigeration is servicing other restaurants as well. That's called vertical integration. Andy McClure purchased the Citizen Burger Bar Carytown building. Few restaurateurs are able to make the leap from restaurant ownership to real estate ownership. I've identified three for you. Wilson Ritchie, Cafe Frank, I believe also the Downtown Grill, he owns both buildings. Definitely Cafe Frank, I'm pretty darn sure Downtown Grill. Andy McClure owns the real estate that is Carytown Citizen Burger Bar in Richmond. Peter Castiglione and Christian Kelly own where Maya Restaurant is located on West Main. So I have identified two of the most influential restaurant groups in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. Wilson Ritchie's 10-Course Hospitality, find it online, 10coursehospitality.com, and Andy McClure's Virginian Restaurant. You can find it on the Virginian Restaurant Company, and that URL is virginianrestaurant.com, virginianrestaurant.com. I think the third most influential one is Bodo's Bagels. Bodo's Bagels.
So you're just, are you just defining influential as most prolific?
I'm defining influential as prolific for brands under ownership, prolific from yearly gross revenues, prolific from labor, people accounting for ownership from a labor pay my bill standpoint, I work for you. And I'm defining as influential as trend setting. Trend setting. When Andy McClure, and which company designed the Citizen Burger Bar brand identity? V&V Brands. Remember?
Yeah.
Girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend at the time, and I, a bottle of wine, we did some design on a napkin, and then you and I, on computers, flushed it out. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Ex-girlfriend and I, on a napkin with wine over some days, designing what it's going to look like, the brand on a cow, and then we flush it out, and it's now on the Downtown Mall. When he launched a craft burger idea, it was not the rage it is now. And now you consider craft burgers, and they are everywhere. They are literally everywhere in this town. That is influential. That is first-to-market innovation that is copycatted by peers and colleagues and competitors alike. Wilson Ritchie, approachable on the Downtown Mall. He was one of the first. Revolutionary soup, whiskey jar, Now you're seeing dining on the mall become way more approachable than the white tablecloth, white napkin, cloth napkin that it used to be. At one time in the downtown mall, if you were going to go out for dinner in the city of Charlottesville, it was a white tablecloth and a cloth napkin type of environment. Got dressed up. Now you look at the restaurants of the downtown mall, there is much more paper napkin, no white cloth, what's it called, that thing that you put over the table? Tablecloth? The tablecloth, it's called a tablecloth. There's much less tablecloths and much less cloth napkins and much more paper napkins and no tablecloths. Let's rattle off a few off the top of our head. Rev Soup, Whiskey Jar, the Bebedero. Those are 3 from Wilson. Citizen Burger Bar, Andy, Jack Brown's, Harrisonburg, Brand, Tillman's, Tonic, Lucky Blues, right? It's become way more approachable.
Okay.
That is a Wilson influence. I think the 3 most trend-setting restaurant businesses, and these other topics we're going to have to save for another day. We'll analyze the topics of ABC stores shutting down. The biggest freaking monopoly in the Commonwealth of Virginia is the ABC. These people are like the mafia of liquor. Oh, you have to go to a government-owned store to buy your hard liquor. And we're going to tax the HE double hockey sticks out of the liquor makers, screw their margin, and we're going to keep it all. Greedy government. There's a bill circulating around Richmond right now that will abolish, die, crush, kill, annihilate ABC stores. And I say, bring it the F on.
I think it's a good thing.
More options on the market, the better for the consumer. Competition creates accountability. That topic on Monday's show. Amazon packages being hijacked, robbed, and stolen from trains on the go all over the country. That topic on the I Love Seville show on Monday. The Central Virginia transportation system aggregating all transportation in Central Virginia under one brand and creating a new authority for the betterment of the marketplace and riders alike. That topic on Monday's edition of the I Love Seville show. And Judah's Brain, snow preparation. I don't know if we can do that because that would be right in the middle of the storm right there. But we're going to issue a Judah's Brain every show.
It was more of just a question.
Well, I learned beet juice.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Beet juice.
Beet juice for what?
Beet juice for keeping snow and ice off the roads.
Who knew that beet juice was a solution for keeping snow and ice off the road? That's freaking amazing right there. He reads a lot. I'm telling you right now, beet juice. That topic, beet juice, on Monday's edition of the I Love Seville show. And UVA quarterback Brennan Armstrong is returning for another year. I want to talk restaurants for about 5 more minutes, and then we got to get the HE double hockey sticks out of here because yours truly has a new client meeting, hopefully closing a deal at 2:45 this afternoon. Wilson and 10-course hospitality set trends. One of the trends that they've really created is approachability in dining in Charlottesville. Andy's restaurant group sets trends. One of the trends he's undoubtedly created is the customized burger bar, elevated burger in the city of Charlottesville. You roll your eyes. You disagree.
No. It's not that I disagree.
He was the first. I mean, Boylan Heights was technically the first, but he made it ubiquitous.
Yeah, he may have been the first here, but was he porting in an idea that was forming around the country?
That most likely.
So that's my only that's why I'm questioning the influential. You know, a lot of these things.
But it takes cojones in vision
to be the first one to do it in an area.
That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. Not only cojones in vision, but money. Money to do it. Mm-hmm. And to be the first to try it when everything else was on the downtown mall at the time, white tablecloth and white napkin.
Not everything.
What then was not? Because when Citizen Burger Bar...
Christians?
Christian's Pizza's takeout. All right, I'll give you Christian's Pizza, and Rev Soup was open at the downtown mall when Citizen Burger Bar opened as well. Miller's more of a bar.
Okay.
The majority of restaurants at that time were fine dining.
Okay.
It was fine dining. You got to give me that.
I mean, I'd have to take a snapshot of the downtown mall at the time. I'm trying to think of the places that were around.
My memory is very good.
Tempo? That wasn't...
Tempo was fine dining. Tempo was fine dining.
Tablecloths and...
Tempo was fine dining.
Okay.
Undoubtedly, Tempo was fine dining.
All right.
It was Tempo. That was the old Brees Cunningham spot off the side street over there by the Thai restaurant and the professional center where Willow Tree Apps was. Tempo was fine dining.
Okay.
So here's what we learned today. What did you learn today?
What did I learn today?
What did you learn today? Will Noel, hello. Say hi to Will.
Hey, Will.
What did you learn today?
Let me think about that.
It's a talk show. You've got to talk.
I said, let me think about it. What did I learn today? I don't know.
You didn't learn
I have to
anything?
think about it. I learned, what did I learn? Lucky's
Yeah.
Blues. Is that just a name change from...
rebrand from Citizen Bowl Shop.
Okay.
Patrick McClure.
That's what I learned.
Patrick McClure, Andy's brother, Citizen Bowl Shop, now Lucky Blues, evidently has a very famous steak and cheese sandwich. Cheesesteak. Let me ask you, what is the difference between a steak and cheese sandwich and a cheesesteak?
Someone from Philly would probably be adamant that there's a big difference. I have no idea. I remember getting my favorite in what was it? Sandfly in Savannah. There was a place that did Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and I loved their chicken cheesesteak. So good. Haven't found a good chicken cheesesteak to replace it, but...
Well, evidently, Lucky Blues is the spot for the cheesesteak. Neil on Twitter says, check out beetjuicesalt.com. Beetjuicesalt.com. B-E-E-T, juicesalt.com. It's literally what you're talking about. Beet juice salt, ice melt headquarters. Beet juice is becoming a very popular snow and ice fighting tool. I did not know this. I learned that beet juice is a way to remedy snow on roads and ice on roads.
Their website makes me want to cry.
Their website needs VMV brands badly. Jesus.
Their website makes me want to cry.
But still, it's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
To Neil's point, it's what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, think about it. Look at the cars out on the
out
on the road. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Would you rather have your cars be salty or turn red?
Or no, if you do beet juice, so would it take away business from the car wash business? You're saying if beet juice was utilized, the car wash business would still get revenue? Because after snowstorms, some of the best times, Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach. Judah, does the beet juice have to be organic? Oh God, that was hilarious, Scott.
That's going to open up a can of worms we do not want to open up.
No, we don't need to go down that road.
Yeah. Somebody would insist.
You're saying the woke demo would insist that the beet juice that treats the roads as organic beet juice?
Is our city using organic beet juice, or are they,
Kevin Higgins, I think the American dream is being able to hug a friend like you just did and not feel like you are transferring something. When that's past us, it's game on.
Say it again.
He says, I think the American dream is being able to hug a friend like you just hugged Judah and not feel like you are transferring something to them, meaning COVID. When that is past us, it's game on for the American dream. Well said.
I think that is a good part of it. Some of us may have lost that. I think others of us haven't.
Dude, have you ever been in a new place, like meeting somebody? Like we just had Ted Reek come in for our first show, the CEO of Jaunt. Immediately, you and I went to shake his hand. Have you seen someone now for the first time, gone to shake their hand, and then the other, because you and I are handshakers.
Yeah.
And then the other person is hesitant to shake your hand, or they do the fist bump, the handshake, or like, whoa, whoa,
I think that's
whoa.
I think that's often because they've met people that are averse, touching averse.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and so I think that response is often just like, I don't know.
Whoa!
I don't know what
am I supposed to do?
I don't know if this person's going to yell at me for putting my hand out.
God, you did. I'm going to give you props. This is your best participation yet of the show. And with the mic and the mic arm in front of you, people can hear you.
They could hear me before.
They can hear you better now.
I've gone back and checked the historical documents, and I could hear myself.
You brought some humor in with your commentary today, too. Very charming, Judah Wickower. J-Dubs, good work, homie. All right, for Judah, I'm Jerry Miller. This is the I Love Seville show on a gorgeous Friday. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we do, guys. We love connecting with you through the I Love Seville network. Thank you kindly for joining us. And the best city in America, Charlottesville, Virginia. We're live from the Macklin Building in downtown Charlottesville. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe on this Snowmageddon. The last one was the Snowpocalypse. This one's going to be Snowmageddon. Unless you can think of another brand. You're not buying Snowmageddon? Or you're not buying Snowmageddon as a brand? Or you're not buying Snowmageddon is actually going to happen?
Oh, I don't know.
Snowmageddon's a good brand. Snowpocalypse for the last one, Snowmageddon for this one.
I prefer Snowpocalypse 2.0.
No, it's got to have a new brand.
Really?
Yeah. We're in the branding business, dog.
But it's 2 weeks.
We're in the branding business.
I still don't think that this one needs a new brand. I think
Snowmageddon.
I think we hold that back for for March when everybody thinks that the cold and the snow is over, and we get hit with that one last big storm of the year. And
make sure you stock up now on your organic beet juice.
Yeah.
Your organic beet juice to prepare. That's what I learned today. Thank you kindly.
Fill your squirt guns and spray down your walkways.
You want them to take Super Soaker 5000s and fill them with organic beet juice?
Would that not be awesome?
That would be awesome.
An army of VDOT people walking down the street, just spraying the roads.
Scott says he fist pumps his criminal clients instead of shaking their hands. Scott,
I'm not exactly sure what that's saying.
Right. All right, we're peacing out. Judah, great work today. He's Judah. I'm Jerry. This is the I Love Seville show. So long, everybody. Organic beet juice in a Super Soaker 5000. Spraying